Alright, this is John Colo with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I'm here with some beautiful Lactacino Kale or Dino Kale. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do juice off, one of my favorite things to do. So today we have the Green Star Elite or GSE-5000 model. That's a twin gear juicer. And so these are the twin gears right in here in this housing. This is the upgraded model from the standard Green Star 1000, 2000, and 3000 model and the original Green Power juicer. So these are the twin gears here. Let's see, in my previous test it has yielded more than vertical style juicers, but we're going to see exactly how much. On this side we have the Omega 8005 juicer. And this is my personal Omega 8005 juicer. And normally the Omega 8005 juicer comes with the standard white auger. I've upgraded it to the same auger that comes in the 8004 and 8006 model, and you can do that. And this auger basically costs about $60. So if you do that, this juicer will cost more than the 8006 or more than the 8004 if you have the 8003. So I recommend that you buy the Omega 8004 or 8006 from the get-go. It's going to come with the harder auger and an extra 5 years on the warranty. But these operate just identical. The motors are the same, the body housing is a little bit different, and all these parts are interchangeable between the 8003, 8004, 8005, and 8006. So the yield will be identical on all the different machines. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead. So what we're juicing today is we have the Dino Kale, as I had mentioned. We already pre-weighed out 1 pound of each, so we have 1 pound of Dino Kale on this side, 1 pound of Dino Kale on this side. We're going to see how much it yields. So let's go ahead and get started juicing that Dino Kale, 1 pound of Dino Kale through the Omega 8005 juicer, which is the same as the 8003, 8004, and 8006. And see my other videos for the differences. So we're literally just going to feed one piece of kale in at a time. And as you can see, the kale is literally getting sucked into the machine. And it will take a little bit of time to juice all this kale. It's really important to juice our dark leafy greens such as this Dino Kale. Most people don't eat enough leafy greens, and juicing is the best way to get more nutrition out of the leafy greens and include them in our diet because it breaks open the hard cell walls unless you chew your food really, really well. So you can see that green juice coming out, and that is some really, really dark green juice. Other greens that you could juice besides Dino Kale, I like Dino Kale a lot because it is really, really dark, are just, standard kales. Collards, Georgia collards are my favorite. Chards also are really good. Even things like spinach could work. But things that work better, in the juicer, things have like a nice stem. So the stem adds a lot of fiber and it helps push the fiber actually through the machine. If you're juicing, say for example, spinach, it doesn't have a lot of hard fiber and it's not gonna, work through the juicer as well. We're a little bit more than half done now. And I don't recommend that you juice straight Dino Kale unless you are an advanced juicer. Juicing straight Dino Kale is, as you can see, the juicer is going to do it fine, but if you drink the straight Dino Kale juice, you might get sick actually. You might have some reactions to drinking straight Dino Kale juice. So what I recommend is usually doing 3/4 of the glass with something like carrots, celery, or cucumbers, and then 1/4 of the glass of Dino Kale. But for all you hardcore people out there that have been experienced juicing and juicing for a while, I'm showing you how much the Omega 8005 will yield when you juice 1 pound of kale. Alright, so this is the last bit of Dino Kale that we'll be juicing in the Omega 8005 juicer. As you can see, we have quite a bit of juice down there and a lot of pulp. Now, the thing to remember when you're juicing something like Dino Kale or even wheatgrass, you're not going to get the same yields that you're going to get out of something like apples or cucumbers. They're much more watery and there's not a lot of juice in the kale. You're literally juicing leaves. And so here's the pulp. And the pulp, actually, I'm taking it and squeezing it, and it's pretty dang dry. So we're gonna let this juicer sit here a little bit and continue to drip out, and we're gonna go ahead and now step over to the next juicer here, the Green Star Elite, and juice with that. A little bit louder here on the Green Star Elite, and what's really, all we need to do, it's a lot easier to feed in the Green Star Elite. There's 2 gears, and as you put the kale into the gear, it literally sucks the whole kale into it. So I definitely like feeding the kale into the Green Star Elite much better, much easier to do, and it's a little bit quicker. The Omega 8005 didn't, grab the kale like this as much. So as you can see, the pulp's coming out here. There is what's called an outlet adjusting knob on the Green Star Elite. And what that does, it has a spring tension and keeps the pulp inside the machine to extract the highest yield of juice. So the pulp that's coming out on this machine is a little bit drier than on the Omega 8005 juicer. As I'm feeding this kale in, you can see out of this feed chute, basically juice is bubbling up. And why is that happening? Well, what's happening is the pulp is trying to stay in the machine, and there's so much extra juice that's not coming out through the screen, it's backing up on us. So when that happens, what you need to do is go over to the outlet adjusting knob and turn it a little bit more so that it allows a little bit more pulp out, so that you don't get this residual backup. And you're gonna have to play with it and see at what point. You don't want this too loose, but once again, you don't want it too tight or it's gonna back up on you. And also, if you're juicing, the kale, for example, with some apples or some carrots at the same time, you're not going to get this major backup situation, because the juicer really needs some hard fiber to push the leaves through the machine. And we're really not giving it enough fiber. The fiber contained in the kale is not enough to help push the juice through. So we're almost done here juicing the Dino Kale in the Green Star Elite juicer. We are getting a little bit back up. I have been playing with the outlet adjusting knob. It's helping a little bit. I'm almost probably gonna have to take out the whole knob here, because this is backing up a bit on me. And now I normally wouldn't juice, straight greens like this. I would mix them. But as for this test, I want to do a test with, literally all straight greens. There's a lot more foam than in the Omega 8005 juice, and the reason for that is that the juicing technology. So this juicing technology is single auger. It basically compresses the fibers of the Dino Kale into a screen and then literally squeezes the juice out. And now in the Green Star Elite, it's working a bit differently. There's 2 gears rolling around, and basically the kale going in between the gears press out the juice. And the problem with that is that there is some space between the juice, and that space creates extra air when you're making the juice. So now you can see some of the foam's actually coming out through the pulp discharge. So we're gonna turn that off, because I think we pretty much got all of it. We're just getting foam now. So first we're gonna take the Omega 8005 juice, and we're gonna pour that in. As you can see, there's not that much foam when we juice with the Omega 8005 juicer. Now we're going to take the juice from the Green Star Elite juicer, and there's significantly more foam, but let's see what juicer actually yield more. So I've just poured the juice that each of the juicers made into a pitcher, and now I'm going to walk around the front and see how much juice is actually made. So if we get a close-up on this here. So on the Omega 8005 juicer, we basically have let's see, 200, 300, 400, 500, 200 milliliters of juice, of kale juice, Dino Kale juice, with, it looks like about 100 milliliters of foam, if you want to measure the foam specifically. And on the Green Star Elite juicer, actually, we have probably, looks like about 150 milliliters, so it's like 50 milliliters lower, but we have, oh man, that's like 100, 200, 300, 350 milliliters of foam. So as you can see, the Omega 8005 juicer was more effective at juicing straight Dino Kale leaves than the Green Star Elite juicer. Now the question is, is this a realistic test? How many people out there are really going to juice straight Dino Kale? Well, for the hardcore people out there, you may be doing that, but for the average person, you're going to mix in celery and cucumbers, and when you mix in and add celery and cucumbers and carrots with your juice, the juicer is going to be able to be more effective and get a higher yield out of this Dino Kale. So in this test, if you want to use straight Dino Kale and maybe other straight greens, as you can see, definitely the Omega 8005 is more, creates a higher yield for you. All right, so this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.